Hey guys, it's time for another video, except this one's not gonna be like any other video I've made so far. In fact, I've added in a new little twist. So, now that I have you intrigued, how is this video or review going to be any different to the ones you've made so far, Marz? Well, I've gone with actually quite a different style this time. Instead of writing this massive review as a script and basically reading it back to you, because that's generally what I've been doing so far, I've gone with a different approach. I'm actually writing keywords like you would on a speech and talking to you guys about how I feel about the game. Straight from the heart, live recording, as opposed to having a pre-recorded message. Insert here. Let's see how this goes. Oh, before we do go in, just want to remind you, I do stream on Twitch, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Come through, come say hi. So, Valorant. Well, out of the bat, this game's been around a few months already, and a lot of people were speculating whether there's going to be a hit or a miss. It hit the Twitch scene really hard. It's been quite popular, and quite frankly, I don't see it going away. I think this is a game that's going to be around for a while, and yeah, I don't know if it's going to have the same longevity as something like CSGO, which is, as I'll explain just now, pretty much it's where it pulls its origins from. But I will say this, I see this hitting the competitive scene pretty hard. I reckon it will get in there. I reckon it will be one of those games you'll see at major tournaments that people are going to be competing because, quite frankly, it seems to be built around something like that. Well, onto the premise and the basics of the game. It's a standard 5v5 shooter, PvP, yes, you gotta play against players, that's how this one works. You have attackers and defenders, and the whole point of it is to plant a bomb, which actually in this case is called a spike. So, does this sound familiar? Yeah, it should, because it's pretty much just like Counter-Strike. So far, what I've explained is just like Counter-Strike. Where the differences come in is it's a Counter-Strike with abilities. Yeah, I know what this is starting to sound like. If you've seen any reviews, if you've seen anything about this game, the first thing people tell you is it's Counter-Strike plus Overwatch. Yes, it does pull elements from both. I think it's the best description to define what this game actually is and how it works. So yeah, one side is going to be defending against the bomb plant, and the other is going to want to plant said bomb, or the other way to win is to actually kill the entire team. So again, standard CS stuff. There isn't any hostage maps or anything like those other less popular versions of Counter-Strike. So there's that. It pretty much takes the best elements of said game. It is quite balanced for a competitive game. I think that's one of the reasons why so many people have been drawn to it as of late. It's just a fun jump into well-rounded game with hero abilities, which is something a lot of people struggle to do in these games. Often when you throw in these incredible abilities and these amazing superhero powers, one tends to be overpicked more than the other, and I feel like for the most part, there's a general balance in terms of which heroes or which characters, for want of a better term, get picked. So, that says a lot for the balance of the game. Going back to the whole Counter-Strike thing, it's kind of like an upgrade to a loved genre. The CS style of gameplay has been there for years and years and years. I mean, I grew up with it. It was one of my first competitive games that I played, or even online games that I played in my younger years. But this is an upgraded version or a modernized version for new players coming in, wanting something a little bit different to the scene, like a new take or a new twist to an old meta that's been there for years and years and years. And it still follows that same sort of gameplay niche where it's not just buy a gun and shoot. No. Each of these guns have their own special spray systems. You got to learn each of the guns. You can't just sit there and hold the left click or the trigger or whatever button you end up using for playing this. You can't just sit there and just shoot. It's got its own spray in its own direction, and you got to learn each individual gun. The other cool part about these abilities is instead of having smoke grenades or explosive grenades, they generally throw these into people's abilities, and they'll make like a big circle that you got to walk through that acts like smoke, or a wall of fire that you can't run through. It's a temporary barrier. And then you can get very different abilities if you're going back to the Overwatch comparison, where you have Hanzo shooting an arrow so you can see around a corner, or even shooting through a wall. The buy system also falls very similar to the genre you may or may not know, where each round you earn money based on your performance. That can be getting kills, that can be defusing the bomb, or planting the bomb, spike, or it could also be earned from basically winning the round and surviving. Dying, obviously, you lose a bit more money. If you don't win after a couple of rounds, you start earning a little bit extra money to make up for the fact that you've been losing. But using that money, not just for guns, is what I really liked about this game. So that money you could use each round. Yeah, you could buy a bigger gun. You could buy something that you feel would fit more. You could buy a sniper rifle, something along those lines. Or you can buy into utility, like your abilities. You could buy a couple of more charges of your abilities from round to round. That's an aspect I really enjoyed about this. That's where I think it came in with its own unique version of how to use abilities from round to round. You don't just earn them over time. You got to earn them from doing competitive things in the game. You either got to buy them, or you got to find drops in the round itself. You pick up these orbs and they power up your abilities. They give you the options to use them. And at the end of the day, that just means that you're probably not going to be throwing an ultimate every round. You're going to be wanting to save those ultimates for key timings and for niche situations that might actually change the balance of the game, That's a really, really important aspect of a game like this. So something else to address here is the game is actually free. It's one of those shooters that you wouldn't expect to be free. Talking about Counter-Strike, and actually I think CS is now free, but going and talking about a game like Overwatch, for instance, a lot of these games, you pay for them once and then you just keep playing them. They try and entice you with in-game purchases for skins and cosmetics. That's the general consensus behind these. This one follows a similar route to most of the MOBA trends as of late, which is, hey, game's free. Here you go. You have to slowly unlock the potential different heroes in the game, or pay. You could pay for them straight up, sure. And the skins are the same thing. You pay for the skins and the different looks of your guns, and that's where they try and make their money. That's where the business model for this comes in. And for the most part, I'm okay with this. There are definitely worse models out there. I think this one's okay. Right, so who is this not going to be for? At the end of the day, it's got a steep learning curve. If you've ever played Counter-Strike, knowing when to push is really important. Learning each of the sprays of the guns really makes a difference. And now adding in abilities, and you got to learn each of the characters' abilities. Look, it doesn't take you too long to realize that animation means you can't go through it, or that animation means shoot it, or that animation means it's like a smoke. It doesn't take you too long. But I feel like learning the guns all over again with their own individual sprays to really master this. I mean, yeah, you could jump into this game straight out of the box, like straight after downloading it. Go for it. Go play this game. Jump into it. You'll probably be fine. But I feel that the longer this game is out, you're really going to have those pros shining out. The people are going to know the maps. Oh, something about CS. If you know the maps and you know where to peek and you know where to step out, you just become the next level player in games like these. So yes, this game has a steep learning curve. It is player versus player. And if this is not your type of genre, stay far away from it. You don't like Overwatch and you don't like CS, stay away. Stay away, this is not your type of game. Having said that though, I have spoken to a few CS players that actually do not like this. Yeah, of course, they're probably traditionalists, but the majority of the people that were heavy CS and enjoyed it, most of them have transitioned over to the game as a secondary, or in some cases primary, shooter for themselves. As for my personal opinions of the game, it's not something I'm going to keep installed. I'll be honest. Two major reasons for me is, one, there are no servers for me. Yes, I live in little South Africa and the bottom of the world, and no, we don't have servers as of yet. So we have to play on European servers, and a game like this that gets quite competitive, I feel that you really need to make sure that you've got low latency kind of thing. Although the game does handle it well, surprisingly well. Hence why so many people I know are actually still playing it. But for me, it just doesn't feel right. I feel like this is a high-paced game, and to really take it any form of seriousness, you kind of need the high ping. Or the low ping, to be more precise. The other concern with the game that I have is, this one's a bit of a bittersweet one. It's the art style. So if you have a look at this, the art style, it's unique. It's pretty cool. But there's just something that doesn't quite gel with me. I don't know. I think the reason they had to go with something so bare bones and bare minimum is to try and make sure that it worked on so many PCs. You know, that's something both you'll find Blizzard and Valve made sure is a thing with their games. The CS runs on low-end PCs. It's designed for that. The more people they can reach out to, the more people they can get playing their game. And that's usually Blizzard's policy too when it comes to games like Overwatch. The more people you get playing it at the end of the day, that's what they want. But something about this art style just doesn't gel with me and the look of it. You know, if a friend asked me, please, let's go jam this. Seriously, come play. I might. In fact, I have in the past. But something about the art style for it just doesn't gel with me. Having said that though, I do still feel like this game is going to be a huge success. I think it's going to be around for a while. Do I see this dying in the next year? No, not at all. In fact, I see it lasting for quite a few years to come. It's all going to come down to whether they introduce new heroes that might change the balance of the game, or if they introduce anything that could potentially swing the balance of the game. It could have an awesome launch like I believe it has. I think it really has had a good launch. But if they decide to do something a bit crazier and just swing it out, yeah, you know, that's an instant killer. If it sticks to the model it's got now and the recipe that it's currently running, I reckon it's got some serious staying competitive power. I think this is a game that's going to hang around for a while. So, what did you guys think? Completely different approach, right? Different way of doing it. And you guys let me know which way you prefer. The more professional reading out, voice acting kind of approach as the ones I've done previously, or on a more casual, less elegant wording kind of vibe, right? But more casual, on a one-to-one kind of level feel that I've done today. I'm leaning towards today's, personally. I don't know. Something about re-watching this made me feel really good about it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's what you guys think works in terms of content. I'd love to hear your opinions. And if you want to, you know, comment down below, or come catch me on Twitch Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays and tell me directly what you think there. I know a lot of you who do watch these videos do already watch me on Twitch. Thank you very much, guys. Love you. But anyway, if you did like this video, please hit that like, subscribe, you know, the bell. What do I always say? YouTube things? And until next time, see ya. You can get it on Uplay, or you can get it on Epic Game Store. Whichever one you want. But either way, it's going to go through Uplay. It intended!